Namaskar. Welcome to Inside Tonight with Ashok Vyas, and today we will be talking about something which is relevant for one and all, and that is related to our life, the kind of habit pattern that we develop creates our experience, and our experiences is kind of way with which we, when we look back, we say, "Oh, this was good, this was bad," etc. But very few of us consciously pay attention to what is it that is creating our experience. Indeed, grace plays its role, destiny plays its role, but how conscious mind is helping us in bringing out the best and the beautiful in our lives. We'll learn about that, and we will also take the opportunity of seeing it from the point of view of a father and daughter duo. Both are consciously appreciating life in a way which is worth understanding. So I must welcome Karnika Kisnadwala first with claps.
Thank you.
And clapping with me is Nayan Kisnadwala, Nayan Mitra, her father. Brief words about you, Karnika. You are also a young CEO and founder of a company called Kaanjj. And Nayanji, you have been in the corporate world, and you also are someone who discovered the artistic side at the age 54. So that out, let's go towards habits which we consider as healthy habits, and how healthy habits are also helpful in making us wealthy. So Karnika, when you look at your daily routine, which habit you consider is a healthy habit?
Working out. I think my father actually instilled that into me at the beginning of the pandemic. He always encouraged me to go to the gym and work out, but I never really cared for it until the pandemic began, and spending time outside became one of their only free or being outside of the house times, especially in London. We've been in 3 full lockdowns, and I started running outside. We couldn't use the gym, and I hated running. I even joined the running club in school, but I hated it. But finally, I just learned to love it. And that 1 hour of running outside in nature has become a very healthy habit. Actually, when I don't work out, I feel very anxious, and I feel very like I haven't fulfilled what I'm supposed to. So now I try to work out at least 4 times a week.
Wow.
Even on vacation I have been, except this week. Otherwise I've been trying to do something, either a hike, which I did, I do a spinning class, I do boxing, or I run.
Wonderful. So a tip of healthy habit, work out every day.
Yes.
Nayanji, let us look at the obstacle which many people face. They hear, they heard Karnika, they must have heard others also. Say, I would do it from tomorrow. Now, what is the way to overcome this procrastination?
I think there's a saying from, I think, Dalai Lama. When you don't have time, meditate more. If you have no time for meditation for 5 minutes, then meditate for 60 minutes. And that kind of says it all. You have to find time for yourself, and the way to find time for yourself is, in my opinion, waking up early. Waking up early gives you extra few hours and makes you more productive, and so you get more out of your day if you wake up early, even if you spend the same number of hours awake, because in the morning you get positive energy from the sun, and whether you do physical exercise or you do your puja or your meditation, between 4 and 7:38, you should be doing physical exercises, meditation, and all your prayers, so that you are ready for the day. And that's the key, I think.
So that is another healthy habit, and let us analyze whether it is easy to sort of adapt, and who would better help us in looking at it. And especially, I think this probably is a generational thing also, maybe, may not be. Karnika, what do you think? I don't see many young people telling me that they wake up early. What is your case?
I hate morning mornings. I would say, please don't talk to me until I've had coffee or at least had 1 hour to wake up. So I don't believe in waking up early. I think when it's like I have to, I obviously have to if I have an early morning meeting. And I've become better with that, especially with Kaanjj, because I work with India, I have to wake up early. But I think my generation really likes to work overnight and in the late. Like I do a lot of all-nighters if I need to get all my work done. And I stay up late. That's just how I am. Even though my dad is obviously waking up at 4 a.m. And doing puja, and I can hear it from outside my room, but I still am. I prefer to sleep well than.
Yeah, usually you say good night and I say good morning.
Especially when I was in college, we used to come home and my dad was starting his prayers and we were going to sleep.
Okay, let's look at this situation here, and again bringing it back to healthy habits and wealthy habits. Many times, if Nayan ji, as you wake up at 4 a.m., a father or mother have certain habits which are a part of their daily routine. So they think that this is the way. And then they expect their kids also to follow those habit patterns. When that doesn't happen, it creates a lot of tension-filled moments in many families. So how do you address that?
No, I think all we can do is influence your children, and you cannot impose your views on your children. So I've never forced her to wake up early with me, or for that matter my wife. Okay, it's her life and so is her life. Eventually I believe that she will wake up early because she will realize the importance of structure, importance of having good habits. And once she has her own responsibilities, she's a CEO of a young company, and eventually when she has her own family, she will realize the importance of finding that 3-4 hours of quality time for yourself. And when I say wake up early, that time is for myself, for my physical, spiritual, emotional, mental well-being. That's what I'm investing in myself. And she'll eventually realize that. Whether she does it in the morning or late in the night or any time of the day, that's her calling for now. But eventually she will bring structure in her life too.
Okay, so here's another tip which comes to us as far as healthy habit is concerned, that is to have time for yourself. Now, what do you do with time for yourself? Many people say, I get bored, man, I don't want to be with myself. So they'll keep listening to something or the other. Karnika, I see many, not even youngsters, even elderly ladies also, they have something in their ears wherever they are going. So, do we really pay importance to having time for ourselves?
I think even if you have music going, that is still time for yourself. So I personally, if I'm walking alone or something, I like to put my headphones in and listen to music because that's how I connect with myself. That's my time. But honestly, I did not care about me time until the pandemic. That's when I'm an only child, so I had to be alone most of the time. And I don't want to be sitting with my parents all day, obviously, for 2 years. So that's when I learned to be by myself, listen to music, go for a walk, just do me. And self-care is very important in this generation where there's so many mental health issues. And listening to music, turning on a movie, watching by yourself, going to grab food by yourself, those are all things that we all need to learn because we're all very dependent and become codependent on each other. And really the pandemic taught me not to be codependent on having friends or family around because I was a very social person. All my friends are always at my house, especially pre-pandemic because my house was always the open and friendly house. So I really learned how to be very self-reliant, emotionally, physically, and everything during this time.
So we need to learn that, Nayan ji, and I'll come back to Karnika, but the way we develop our relationship with ourselves, or as Karnika mentioned, become self-reliant and emotionally stable is also, as she also mentioned about mental health. Now, these are the issues which are causing a lot of trouble for individuals as well as for the society. How to address the need of having emotional equilibrium. And allow me to add, it is also related to having expectation. For example, she said, I cannot sit with my parents all the time. Now, there could be one sensitive parent who says, oh, she said something like this about me on air. And then, even if you don't tell her, you have that emotional restlessness within. So,
I think that's one principle I've learned from Guruma early in my life. As soon as I got initiated, was the secret to happiness is to stop expecting from everyone around you. She's my daughter, expect her to do this. She's my wife, expect her to do this. My brother, expect him to do this, etc. Stop expecting. When you stop expecting anything from everyone around you, anything they do is more than you expect and makes you happy. That's the key. And it takes a lot of mental discipline to get there. And I'm still on that journey. I'm not there yet, but I'm on that journey of stopping to expect. And that's the key. If happiness is equal to stop expectations, and that's the key.
So Nayanji, what you are saying is that is the key. It is very difficult to get that key. So how to get that key? And you said you are also trying, because most of the time what happens is we define our relationship with fulfilling somebody's expectations, and then we also expect them to respond in certain fashion. Even if it is the expectation that if you are walking in a room and people would smile or respond back, reflect back to your smile, that is also an expectation. Sometimes that doesn't happen because he or she may have something else happening to.
Absolutely. Everyone right now is going through challenges because of the pandemic, and you have to just try to give them a benefit of doubt and be kind at this moment, especially at this moment in humanity. When we are going through so much transition around the world, we need to start becoming kind to everyone around us, and it requires mental discipline to do that. Stopping expectation is just like you do physical exercise. You want to build a muscle, you repeat right in the gym, and then you get your biceps and you get your triceps, etc. Same thing with mental discipline. You have to practice it, and with practice it becomes a habit. And with physical, if you on it, it takes months. With mental discipline, it takes years, and you just need to keep doing it. So it requires time. I'm still on the journey, and I'm still not there yet. But that's my aim for mental discipline, basically.
Let's learn about it from your point of view, Karnika. The same thing. You might have been in situations where later on, either after you interacted with your mother or father, or maybe while you reflected on something that happened, you felt that, oh, I was expecting this from XYZ person, and that made me feel so miserable, and I should try to reduce the level of expectation from this person or in general. Did that come to you?
That had happened many, many times. Me and my parents are very empathetic people. We like to help everyone and go above and beyond, especially me and my dad. So I think I always expected the same from even family members or friends or colleagues, but not everyone is as nice or pure-hearted as you might be. So you should really, and everyone is different, and everyone has been raised different, everyone has gone through different life experiences, so you should not have expectations. I still do have high expectations from a lot of people, but I've decided that I need to lower them because we're all different.
So how to lower expectations is a tough exercise, and it requires a lot of mental work, as you said. In order to do the mental work to have harmonious relationship with yourself in all the circumstances, what are the tips or the ways, methods that you adopt?
I think so. Physical, we spoke about physical, we spoke about mental, and I think the foundation is the spiritual strength. And when you're strong spiritually, then the others follow. And the way to get spiritual strength is yoga, meditation, pranayam. Very, very important. It's in our tradition. It's from the Vedas, and it still applies. And it doesn't take time, nor it does take a master to teach you. Just do it on your own. We have a saying. Guruma told me that when you're born with the number of times you take breath, not number of years you're going to live. And so the slower you breathe, the longer you live. And just practicing pranayam prolongs your life and enables you to have a healthy life. Yoga is not just about stretching physically, it's about everything together. And meditation to me is the best, which I try to promote with Karnika all the time. She's not there yet, I hope, I think. But meditation is key. Again, Guru Ma is trying to teach me, I'm not there yet too. I can barely sit. I think they tell me I have adult ADHD. But creating that calmness when I'm painting, for example, I'm in the zone. Or when I'm sitting and doing my prayers and meditating, with the Hanuman mantra, breathing in and breathing out, and just slowly doing it. During the pandemic, I conducted a lot of Zoom classes on meditation with friends and relatives who were just facing anxiety, and to me, that's the key, is meditation.
So here is the wealth again. Another key. So first key was lower your expectation, and second is meditation is the key. Now let us look at this key, Karnika. Is it easy to learn meditation, practicing meditation, having the stillness of mind? What has been your experience?
I definitely can do it. I also have ADHD actually. So sitting still and thinking about one thing is extremely difficult for me, and I have tried. The closest I've got is to turning on the Calm app. That's my way of doing it, especially while launching. Obviously, I was having sleeping problems because I think of my brain is scattered and I'm thinking about all the 100 things I need to do the next day. So I started at least doing that through the Calm app, and that they meditate and you just have to follow your body, like relax your body, and that's the way I can do it personally. So you can start somewhere like that, getting the Calm app, and then you can grow to something like what my dad's doing or what Guru Ma does, the most extreme of being super still and shutting everything off.
Since we combine healthy and wealthy together, many times people find themselves in the zone of anxiety because of their financial concerns. And so, how to find a balance between sustaining your good health and not letting the concern of monetary area take away a sense of balance and harmony, because that would eat away the health part also down the line. So overall, your take on this?
Especially in the West, in the East, we still have the system of joint family, and when you have challenges, you're part of a larger family, so it doesn't impact you as much as it in the West, because you're on your own. If you don't have your paycheck, you can't pay your rent or can't pay your mortgage. So it's much more anxious moments for the people in the West, in my opinion, including I've gone through that myself. And I'm not there yet. I'm not at all there yet. But I think as I was a CFO, it's just managing your debits and credits very well, controlling your debits or expenses, and maximizing your income as much as you can from different sources is the key. And be proud of what you do. It doesn't matter what work you do. Just be proud of it, have fun, and create those sources of income. Minimizing your expenses or debits, especially when the world is going through such a dramatic change in the next couple of years, especially. You just have to cut down, basically, and manage. In our business world, we call it cost re-engineering, and that's what you need to do in your personal life too. So. It's difficult for me too, and that has given me some anxiety too. But the key is learning to live a minimalist life is important here, and I'm probably at the furthest end away from it right now.
So now I go to different side related to minimalist life. Karnika, we actually thrive on buying stuff. And many times when we feel I'm not enjoying what to do, either you are ordering something online or you go and you buy things which you really don't need. Do you see that happening with many people among your circle?
Yes, I think I used to be very bad with that. In order to feel better, I used to go and shop many times a week and buy things like makeup or things that I don't like, obviously are not necessary, makeup, clothes, fast fashion, and that's how I started realizing, being more conscious of what I was doing. And as I got older, I've also learned obviously the value of money. I've been working, I worked as a sales associate. Once I realized like how quickly that £8 an hour goes, that's like less than a meal in London, I started realizing not to spend on, and not to spend so frequently. So these days, I've really, even through my company, it's all about slow fashion, investing on classic pieces instead of just throwing away your whole check in one big purchase, like a nice fancy handbag or beautiful shoes or makeup. So I think people my age really are learning much better, especially through the pandemic. Most of my friends have lost their jobs, sadly, because but so we've all really learned how to have to budget and really like learn how to spend time together without spending money. So a lot of us these days, we go to the park and you go bowling, like smaller things like that. That's how I think my age people are really learning to minimize their expenses.
I think you articulated it so well, and it is not only a description of the time that we live in, but also honest way of overcoming some of the things which are easy to overcome if you pay your attention to in intelligent fashion. And another thing now, talking about healthy habits in terms of growth, in terms of growing as an individual on all levels. I think imagination plays an important role. And Nayanji, many times we impose restrictions on ourselves by imagining in a way which restricts our ability to see beyond the the limitations that we have. And so, is that habit which can be cultivated, developed?
It's going through generational change. So I was raised in a middle class environment in Mumbai, where we had to educate ourselves and get a good job and settle down. There was less focus on entrepreneurship, at least in the middle class in a section of where I came from in Mumbai. Education was everything, and then a professional career was everything. The next generation is very different, and they think differently, and I absolutely admire them, because for them the canvas is the global world and anything they want to do. And when Karnika said she wants to be an entrepreneur, I said fine, which is very different, which was only a dream I always had. I want to be on my own. I don't want to work for others anymore. And here she is starting her career as an entrepreneur. So there's a generational change going on. So the percentage of entrepreneurs in the new generation is much higher than our generation. And I think that's a very healthy change. So
No, Karnika, there are people who encourages you in following your heart, pursuing your dreams. There are people who would make you aware of what can go wrong. And I would say both are important. What is your take?
My take was I had very supportive system that never really discouraged me to do what I want. I have very different South Asian parents that never told me you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, you have to be a chartered accountant, or you have to be in finance. I was always more of the creative, free soul in my family, and they told me to do whatever I want. At one point I wanted to become an artist when I was a child. Then I wanted to become a fashion designer, and I tried to do that, but I wasn't as talented as that. So this is what I did in the end, and my parents have always supported me, my friends have always supported me. I obviously do know that things can go wrong, because as an entrepreneur, people fail many times until they find success. So this could be a failure, but I just don't even think about it as a failure. I think we're going to do well, and I always have a positive outlook, especially on my baby Kaanjj.
So now back to you, Nayanji, with question related to what we consume also determines what we have inside us, and that would be expressed or manifested through us. So uh, taking the term from computer world, which is GIGO, or garbage in, garbage out. Uh, and the kind of social media consumption or analysis of certain news items with people shouting at each other, and it draws our attention. We feel that we are learning something, but overall, is it a healthy habit to be obsessed with certain news items?
I think in this era, I call it the post-truth era, and we have to be very mindful of first of all determining whether this is real or whether it's fake. Anything coming to you, whether WhatsApp, Facebook, any social media, or even the TV channels, we need to first of all, make a decision whether this is real news or fake news. It's very difficult to do it because everything looks absolutely real, right? And I call it the post-truth era, and it's going to be very important for every individual of every generation to understand what's truth and what is fake. And it's judgment, individual judgment involved in that, right? Because someone's truth could be someone's fake, and so on and so forth. And so we are unfortunately moving in that world where there's going to be very little difference between truth and fake, and every individual will have to make that decision.
So there is one side of truth and fake. There is another side of something is actually helping us, or we are just running after it because it has certain attraction, and that varies from age to age. So Karnika, as we move towards the concluding part, how you found yourself exercising discretion in determining the kind of stuff that you would pay your attention to, whether it is social media, whether it is movies, whether it is books, or even friends, the kind of friends that you would associate with?
I think that's all about experience. You always have to dabble in, like, I don't know, there's a phrase like you dabble in fire, but you realize that you shouldn't do that. So like I had to obviously be exposed to things that were not for me, and then I learned what was for me, including in friends and TV shows. Like I don't like certain kinds of comedy, but I do like romantic comedies. Like it's like that also. You have to experience it to know what you like and what you don't like.
Wonderful. So experience is what we learned in terms of healthy habits and wealthy habits from Nayan Kisnadwala ji and Karnika. And what I would like to conclude by saying is healthy habits would become a part of us if we are clear about our goal, what helps us in sustaining our hope, what helps in maintaining a sense of optimism, as well as the flow of joy from inside for the world with love. And on that note, wishing you a great life and a fulfilling life with awareness of the absolute. So absolute pleasure having both
Thank
of you.
you.
Thank
Well
you
said.
so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
So
Thank
well
you.
said.
Once again, thanking them and appreciating your presence with us. This is Ashok.
Thank you.
Thank you.